Do you have a burning question you've always wanted answering? Well, good news. Facts, BBC1's fun information programme is back.
In our new regular weekly slot, we'll be here every Sunday at 5 minutes past 5 to answer more of your questions.
We'll settle any family disputes, silence the pub bores, end shop floor squabbles, or just satisfy your curiosity.
So, join Debbie, Billy and me for a new series of Facts, BBC1 Sundays, 5 past 5.
Well, over on BBC2 now, Henry Fonda plays the title role in this afternoon's film Mr. Roberts. It also stars James Cagney, William Powell and Jack Lemmon, and it's set on a US supply ship in the Pacific. Here on One now, Michael Crawford takes the title role as he leaps, tumbles, flips and flies in part 1 of Barnum. Michael Crawford and the rest of the cast will be back in about 6 minutes for part 2 of Barnum. Now on One, it's time to catch up on the half-time scores with Ralph Dellor.
Good afternoon to you. Happy New Year as we bring you the first scores of 1988. Some matches played this morning, others are currently in progress. So let's catch up on those results and latest scores.
Barclays League Division 1. Liverpool 1, Coventry City 0. Luton Town 3, Chelsea 0. Manchester United 0, Charlton Athletic 0. Norwich City 1, West Ham United 1. Nottingham Forest 0, Newcastle United 1. Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 0. Queen's Park Rangers 3, Southampton 0. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Everton 0. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Watford 1. Wimbledon 2, Derby County 1. Division 2, Aston Villa 1, Hull City 0. Blackburn Rovers 3, Sheffield United 0. Bournemouth 1, Birmingham City 0. Crystal Palace 3, Barnsley 2. Leeds United 1, Bradford City 0. Millwall 1, Leicester City 0. Oldham Athletic 2, Middlesbrough 0. Plymouth Argyle 0, Reading 0. Shrewsbury Town 1, Huddersfield Town 0. Stoke City 1, Ipswich Town 1. Swindon Town 0, West Bromwich Albion 0. League Division 3, Aldershot 0, Bristol Rovers 0. Blackpool 2, Bury 1. Bristol City 0, Brentford 3. Chesterfield 1, Mansfield Town 0. Fulham 1, Brighton 2. Grimsby Town 0, Notts County 0. Northampton Town 0, Walsall 2. Rotherham United 0, Port Vale 0. Southend United 1, Gillingham 3. Sunderland 3, Doncaster Rovers 1. Wigan Athletic 2, Preston North End 0. York City 1, Chester City 0. Division 4, Bolton Wanderers 1, Scarborough 0. Cambridge United 0, Peterborough United 2. Carlisle United 2, Burnley 2. Colchester United 0, Scunthorpe United 0. Darlington 0, Hartlepool United 0. Leyton Orient 0, Torquay United 2. Newport County 1, Exeter City 1. Rochdale 0, Halifax Town 0. Swansea City 2, Cardiff City 2. Tranmere Rovers 2, Stockport County 0. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Hereford United 0. Wrexham 0, Crewe Alexandra 0. The Scottish League Premier Division, Dundee 0, Dunfermline Athletic 0. Motherwell 0, Falkirk 0. Division 1, Clyde 1, Partick Thistle 2. Forfar Athletic 1, Meadowbank Thistle 1.
So Liverpool continuing their stately progress. They lead Coventry by a goal to 0 at half-time. Details from David Davis.
Well, by their exalted standards of recent weeks, Liverpool certainly below their best today, but almost inevitably, yes, in front nonetheless, thanks to Peter Beardsley's goal 20 minutes from half-time. The Coventry defence, notably Kevin Smith, panicking under pressure, a back pass horribly astray, and Beardsley presented with the simplest of tap-ins. Ronnie Whelan, McMahon and John Aldrich have gone close too, and Steve Grizovic, once an Anfield reserve of course, has spread his massive frame several times to keep Liverpool out. Traditionally, you know, Coventry don't make a habit of threatening the Liverpool goal in this fixture. They've scored twice here in 10 years, and Regis and David Speedy haven't managed a shot between them so far today. It's Liverpool 1, Coventry 0.
Well, Paul Gascoigne scored the goal by which Newcastle lead second-place Forest at the City Ground, while Arsenal in third place lead Portsmouth 1-0. Tony Gubber reports from Fratton Park.
The only surprise at Fratton Park is that Portsmouth are only a goal up against an Arsenal team who lost both their fixtures on this holiday period so far, and who, quite frankly, have looked on the evidence of this first 45 minutes a team full of doubt and indecision. By far the better football has come from Portsmouth, and they got their goal after 8 minutes. A fine sweeping move up the right, but in the end it was a bad mistake by defender Tony Adams, acting today as captain in the absence of Kenny Sampson, which let in Terry Connor to sweep the ball past John Lukic for his second goal in successive matches. Arsenal, with only one win in their last 7 games, are certainly asking some hard questions in the dressing room at half-time.
I bet they are. Well, some details from those morning kickoffs. Everton lost more ground in the First Division title race with that 1-0 defeat at Hillsborough by Sheffield Wednesday. Mark Proctor scored the all-important goal in the 33rd minute. Queen's Park Rangers' goals in the 3-0 defeat of Southampton all came in a 12-minute spell near the end. Gary Bannister got the first with a header, Mark Falco scored the second and then went off injured, and Wayne Faraday hit the third from 20 yards. Spurs beat Watford 2-1. Clive Allen put Spurs 1 up. Mark Morris levelled for Watford before Paul Moran's first senior goal gave Spurs the points. Incidentally, the Watford trainer Derek French was sent off by referee David Axel after a clash with the linesman. Wimbledon made it to 3 Christmas wins in a row, beating Derby 2-1. Nigel Callaghan put Derby into the lead, but Alan Cork equalised and John Fashanu got Wimbledon's winner. And it was the brothers Steen who were behind Luton's 3-0 win over Chelsea. Mark and Brian got the goals, plus Mick Harford. And don't forget, there's final score 4:50 here on BBC1.
So now on BBC1, the Circus Spectacular continues with part 2 of Barnum. On BBC2 at the moment, Sue Robbie is presenting Showreel 87, and today the judges announced the winners of the BBC Television and Radio Times Amateur Film and Video Makers competition. Here on 1, we join Ralph Dellor for Final Score.
Well, good afternoon to you, and while the year might have moved on, the sporting headlines haven't changed much since the end of 1987. Liverpool march on. They beat Coventry